So like I said in the last one, I wanted to ignore these last two problems here just because they're not, and we've done a ton of problems on here. This last page, I've sort of come up with a lot of problems I like over time, and I have an excess of information on there. If you want to do it on your own, you're more than welcome to take those 3 dimensions and try to solve it on your own. If you want to do extra practice, you certainly can do that. Pause it right now, and then unpause here if you want to get the answer. Oh, sorry, you needed that one other dimension. Pause it right now. You need that 5-inch length on there. And then if you want to try this on your own, you're certainly welcome to. You do not have to. It might be a good practice problem for the midterm or for the test on Friday or the final, but you don't have to do it. But that's what I got for a solution if you want to check that out on your own. And the same thing on the last one. You certainly don't have to do this one. I was going to chop a block or a piece of this block off. So you have 2 prisms. You don't have to do this one. If you want to pause it and try to do it on your own as an extra practice problem, a little challenge problem, you certainly can go for it. It's good, good preparation for the future here, but it's not specific to what's on the test tomorrow, so you don't have to do it. 100% optional. What I wanted to get to, those are your answers if you want to check those out to the homework that was due on Thursday. What I wanted to do is get out of this and go to pyramids. I don't think either class finished the pyramid section, which is okay. I wanted to go through this real quick. Good preparation for the test. Talk about the volume of the pyramid. I know I talked about this, but if you look at this, this is on the 10.3 notes. Take your 10.3 notes, flip them over on the back. Most people have this bottom half of the page partially or all blank. I definitely want to do this problem. I'm going to get rid of the hexagonal pyramid because of the interest in time for this year. We didn't have quite as much time to get through this. Partially because I've been absent, but also partially because we did the whole circles chapter, which we didn't do last year. Cross off the hexagon pyramid, but I do want to give you one pyramid example on here. So we talked about this formula. These two, the pyramid and the prism that are in this picture, they have the same exact base area, and they also have the same exact height because this top vertex is right on that top surface. And if that's true, like I showed you with the water inside the plastic pyramids, if that's true, the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 of the volume of that prism. So there's your formula. You certainly have to know that for the test. Be familiar with that. I made a little problem out of this. Made this a 6x6x6 cube. And then I asked people to find the volume of both the prism and the pyramid itself. So if I haven't, I think one of the classes I might have gotten part of the way through this, and one I didn't get anywhere into this. So give that a try. You should end up with 216. And the pyramid is the exact same thing, but you divide by 3. So it should be 72 cubic inches. Pretty easy one, but I wanted to make it sort of simple to start with. So you understand the concept. It's the same volume, but you just divide by 3 at the end. Just like it would be for a cone compared to a cylinder. This is the problem I want to make sure you do. Definitely go ahead and do this problem. Find the volume of this pyramid. Now, this is on a previous problem, but I'm going to give you the dimensions. It's a 5x5 square base. 8, of course, we reviewed, that represents a slant height. If I give you this edge over here on the test, make sure you remember you have to use Pythagorean theorem. The edge is not the slant height. It's useless information until you go and find the altitude for one of these faces. So this is a volume question, though, so you're still going to have to use some Pythagorean theorem. Find the volume of this. Surface area, we did this many days ago, was very easy because the slant height's on the edge. You have to find the actual height. And if you remember that, that's a little altitude to the center of the base. It would hit down here somewhere, center of the square base. So you'd have a little right triangle inside. I'm sort of drawing it there in blue. Inside the triangle, and the right angle would be right at the center. And it's not going to be that clean for you. This edge here would be 2.5, or this distance here is 2.5. And there's your Pythagorean theorem. 2.5 squared plus the height squared is equal to the 8 squared. In other words, you can't dive right into this formula because you don't have the height. You get the base area. That's 5 by 5. That's 25. That part's easy. The height is where you might get stuck on there. So if you solve this thing for the height, and you'll have to certainly use Pythagorean theorem on problems on the test as well as the final as well. You should get almost 8. 7.59 is 7.6. It's a little lower than 8, which makes sense. It should be less than 8. 8 the hypotenuse of that triangle. And then, of course, you can just plug in and multiply by 25, divide it by 3, and you get around 63.3. Again, if you get something like 118 or 190, you probably didn't divide by 3 at the end. This, if you want to do an extra problem, you could try this one. This is, like I said, it's purely extra. If you use that bottom left-hand side of your paper and filled in that pyramid on the bottom left, you have no room for this. If you want to try this one, this is a nice little helper for the test on Friday. Hint, hint. So if you're still listening and you decided to do this on your own as an independent activity, good job. This will definitely help you. If this edge is 5, it's useless in terms of direct information finding the volume, the lateral area, the surface area, because it's not even on there. So you're going to have to use this length, create a little right triangle on the surface here to find the slant height. Once you get the slant height, then you have to use Pythagorean theorem again in 2 steps to find the actual height, and then this little edge length here, this little length down here. Of course, this is 3 because it's half of the 6. If this is 3 and this is 5, many of you will realize this is a Pythagorean triple again. This is 3. The slant height is actually 4. So I'm kind of showing that as my step right here. Slant height's 4. Then you go a second step to find the actual height. It's 3 squared plus h squared equals 4 squared. And of course you can calculate that and you get around 2.6. So this is a little tricky. Anytime you're only given an edge of a pyramid, a lateral edge, you have to use Pythagorean theorem in a couple steps to get some actual variables that help you. You can't find volume without the actual height. You can't find surface area without the altitude for one of these faces. So there's your volume. And I kept it as rad 7 here. It's the same thing. That's the same as rad 7. So you could leave it as 12 rad 7 if you left it as an exact answer, or 31.7. So 12 rad 7, 31.7, same thing in terms of a quantity, cubic inches. And then, of course, the volume, the surface area, is the 4 triangles plus the base. And the area of each triangle, this is where you needed that slant height of 4. It's 4 by 6. It's 6 wide, 4 high. And you divide it by 2, and then multiply it by 4 because there's 4 triangles. So you should end up with 48. Add the 36 from the bottom, and you get a total surface area of 84. So there's the sort of the big 3: volume, lateral area, in this case was the 4 triangles, and then the surface area, the total surface area. So hopefully that helps you for the exam. Any other bits and pieces that are missing on your notes, don't even worry about them. Don't stress them. I didn't intend, with the short amount of time we had at the end of the year here, I didn't intend on getting through everything. My notes certainly have an ample number of examples to go through things. So anything that's missing, don't worry about it. There's a couple things on each section that might be blank. Don't stress it. Good luck on the test. Hopefully this helps you out. See you Friday.